Can you imagine the futuristic cars that will be available for the next generation? We only know what to expect in our generation, but to the coming generations, we could tell which of the futuristic cars they'll be driving. So in today's video, we present to you the futuristic cars that our grandchildren will be driving. Surprised? Keep watching. But before we begin, consider subscribing to my channel and smash the bell icon to get tuned. Done. Now, let's begin. So we start with Alfa Romeo Carrabbo, the work of the great designer Marcello Gandini. This prototype was presented in Paris in 1968. Its name derives from a type of beetle, hence its green color with luminescent orange that imitates the colors of this insect, and it was born with the mission of marking the stylistic trend of the sports of the 70s. It is characterized by its wedge-shaped silhouette and its scissor doors, an element first introduced in the automotive industry. Its engine was associated with a 6-speed gearbox that allowed it to reach a not inconsiderable top speed of 250 km/h and go from 0 to 100 km per hour in just 6.4 seconds. As a curiosity, it should be noted that the prototype was designed in just 10 weeks, of which only one example was built, which is kept in the Museo Storico Alfa Romeo in Arese. Citroën Carène. No one can deny that one of the brands that have been most determined to anticipate the future has been Citroën. Its history is littered with pioneering innovative vehicles, offering unprecedented solutions to date. And the Citroën Carène is one of them. If when you see it the first thing you think is a pyramid with wheels, you have not been the only one to do it. With this peculiar design, the Chevron brand intended to surprise the 1980 Paris Motor Show with a new way of understanding the automobile. A car with a predominance of glazed surfaces on the windshield and rear windows, which in turn allowed for an atypical interior configuration. Inside, it is striking that the driver's seat is in a central position, with the other two remaining on the sides, slightly behind. For its part, the dashboard and instrumentation also presented novelties compared to any conventional model, since the controls were in the central part with a futuristic-style single double-spoke steering wheel, and the controls were concentrated around the frame. The rest of the dashboard, we can say that it is non-existent, limited to small digital screens at the ends. And if you think that the Carène remained only in an original concept car for memory, you are very wrong. Although it was never produced, it served as inspiration for the design of the future Citroën Axe, which was launched on the market 6 years later. Ferrari Module Concept. This may without a doubt be one of Ferrari's most extravagant concept cars. Presented at the 1970 Geneva Motor Show, its design is the work of Paolo Martin. At that time he worked for Pininfarina, who was not very in favor of taking this project forward. However, Ferrari needed to renew its image to have a presence in the face of the new design trend from its competitors, so the project received the green light to develop it. One of the racing Ferrari 512s that the brand had already built was taken as a base, and as can be seen in the images, the final result was spectacular. Barely rising from the ground, and with a height of 93 centimeters, its aerodynamic fiberglass bodywork is characterized by revealing its incredible V12 engine with 550 CV at the rear through a series of openings, and by having a peculiar access system to the passenger compartment where the transparent plexiglass cover moves forward. In addition, since it does not have wheel arches, its turning radius is extremely limited, which practically excluded it from urban use. At the end of last year, the Ferrari Modulo concept was bought by the American millionaire and collector James Glickenhaus, who has proposed to completely restore the vehicle and fix the steering limitations to participate next May in the Elegance Contest in Villa d'Este. Holden Hurricane. Holden is a bodybuilder brand founded in Australia in 1917 that became a subsidiary of General Motors in that country in 1931. During the Melbourne Motor Show in 1969, left the motoring press open-mouthed when it presented the Holden Hurricane. You only have to take a look at the design of the Hurricane to imagine what that vehicle meant at that time. Its futuristic bodywork was made entirely of fiberglass, and under its hood, it housed a powerful V8 with 262 CV, which allowed it to reach 200 km/h, more than enough speed to enter the select club of the best sports. But in addition to its aesthetics, the Hurricane surprised by offering unprecedented equipment in any car until years later. For example, we can highlight that it had an air conditioner with automatic temperature regulation, its radio had an automatic frequency search, and at the rear, it had a wide-angle camera for reversing. However, of all this equipment ahead of its time, what most caught the attention of the Hurricane was its Pathfinder positioning system. Considered the predecessor of the current GPS, the Pathfinder based its operation on magnets implanted in the roads that indicated to the driver their location and the direction to take at intersections using light indicators and sound signals. Currently, the Holden Hurricane has been preserved in perfect condition thanks to the meticulous restoration carried out in 2006 by a small team from the brand's design center, and which brought this advanced and technological sports car back to life. Lamborghini Athon. It was the year 1980. And there was little left for the Turin Hall to be held. Lamborghini wanted to surprise everyone, so he asked Bertone to create a special convertible concept that would not leave anyone indifferent, but at the same time respect the brand's design line. Bertone entrusted the task to its designer Marc Deschamps, who did not hesitate to take the chassis of the Lamborghini Silhouette, a model that had been discontinued 3 years earlier, and to get more attention from him, instead of baptizing him with the name of a bull, he was given the name of Atham, the Egyptian sun god. But in addition to being flashy, the Atham also had to be fast and functional. For this, it was equipped with a 3-liter V8 engine with a power of 260 CV that allowed it to reach a maximum speed of 260 km/h, mechanics that satisfied the journalists who were able to test it at that time. For its part, the interior was as striking as its exterior, or even more so. Maximum comfort and technology prevailed in abundance, highlighting its huge digital instrumentation panel, the appearance of its futuristic controls, and the strange design of both the steering wheel and the gear lever, which is greatly reminiscent of the handle of a knife. Lancia Stratos Zero. If you are looking for a spaceship with wheels, you have just found it. So much so that this vehicle ended up paying for being too far ahead of its time. However, their surnames are already inscribed in gold letters in the world of competition, and their lines changed the design trend when it came to building a car. Like the aforementioned Alfa Romeo Carrabbo, the Lancia Stratos Zero, also known by the name of Lancia Bertone Stratos, is the work of the great designer Marcello Gandini, who took the well-known Lancia Stratos as the basis for its development to present it at the Salon del Turin automobile in the year 1970. Focusing on its aesthetics, what stands out most powerfully is the wedge shape of its lines, designed on purpose to keep the car as close to the ground as possible. In addition, being tremendously compact, just 3.58 meters long and 80 centimeters high, it also had to offer agile maneuverability. With such a compact size, you could get the most out of its 130 horsepower, 1.6 engine from the Lancia Fulvia, the only element that resembled a car. The rest was subject to its design, to such an extent that access to the passenger compartment was through the windshield, and the steering wheel was attached between the pilot's legs once seated in it. As a curiosity, note that this concept appeared 18 years after its presentation in the movie Moonwalker as a futuristic car impossible to chase. Maserati Boomerang. The Boomerang concept was presented in 1971 at the Turin Motor Show, but the final model would not arrive until the 1972 Geneva Motor Show. It was a car ahead of its time, which competed in design at that time with the Porsche Tapiro or the Lamborghini Marzel. However, the Boomerang, unlike these, would not represent a great leap in the design that Maserati had already been carrying out. The models designed by Giugiaro for Maserati already contained elements that we can see in the Boomerang, such as the retractable headlights or the continuity between the hood and the front glass, generating a lower than normal angle in the front pillar. Undoubtedly, one of its most notable elements was its watches as well as a large part of its interior. Today, it could even be classified as surreal since the narrow angle of the front glass made it necessary to find a somewhat curious solution. And it's just to insert the numerous analog information gauges in the center of the steering wheel to improve their visibility. Only one vehicle was produced, which after years of neglect reappeared in the Paris Retromobile. The last time it could be seen as a concept was at the Barcelona Salon in 1974. Later it was acquired by the owner of a club in Benidorm, who later sold it to its current owner, a private collector, we imagine. So tell your children to tell their children about the arrival of these futuristic cars to prepare them for how the future of automotive will be. I hope you liked this video. If you did, kindly click the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. And don't forget to smash the bell icon to get notified. See you in the next video. Thanks.